It's got to play a little bit. You got to get into it with the Beach Boys. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. This is Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain, here with the one and only Andreas Ruiz doing the live stream from the back corner today. So
I know, yeah.
It's going to be an interesting
yeah,
angle.
I'll put it out there anyways.
Hi.
Yeah, what's up? It's cracking.
Hi, Facebook Live. So we got another amazing show for you today, as we usually do, but this would not be the Common Good Radio Show if I did not give grace and put God first and give him thanks for all the amazing things that he's done in our lives, all the blessings that he's been able to provide, all the people we've been able to help through his guidance. And I usually would read the Lord's Prayer, but Andreas has really been liking my freestyle prayers lately, so we're gonna go from the heart today.
Cool.
And I want to say, Father, thank you so much for loving us and teaching us how to love one another. Thank you so much for all the blessings that you put in our lives, allowing us to have each other to get to the next stage of our life. Thank you so much for guarding us and guiding us from the evil that's constantly trying to attack us. And we thank you for being here for us so we can get to whatever you call us to do. In your son's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. So in studio with us, we have like the Inspired Life duo. Right? Do you guys have like a cool brand tag name yet? No?
We're the Inspireds.
Yeah, we have our friends call us the Inspireds.
Yes, you're definitely the Inspireds.
Like
yes, and you guys certainly inspire me. You know, me and my wife trying to be powerhouses ourselves. We look at what you guys are doing. We're like, okay, that's how it's done. Got it. So I go ahead and introduce these beautiful people. This is John Spurr, a little lesser of the beautiful. He's with Inspired Life Mortgage. And then we got Dr. Rachel with Inspired Life Center that does chiropractic work and kind of a plethora of different things to help you be a better you. Is that a
like
good tagline?
I'm putting on a shirt.
Yeah, there we go. so, but we're going to go start off with the mortgage side of the building with Mr. John Spurr, who, I mean, I'd like to say he's a good friend because he picks on me all the time, but it's so much more than that, because if it wasn't for this man, and we've talked about it on the show so many times, I wouldn't have known that I was eligible for the VA loan, and technically I wouldn't have been eligible for the VA loan because he got me the certificate, and I wouldn't be living in the beautiful 5-bedroom house in Marana that I live in now. So thank you for that once again.
It's what I do, and I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess in that same vein, as a veteran, you recently helped me purchase my home. In conversation with you, I discovered the majority of your borrowers are veterans, and most of them did not believe that you could qualify to even buy a home, just like I didn't. What are some of the reasons these veterans don't think that, and how could they qualify for a mortgage?
The number one reason I come across is the same thing that you had. You had been told that you didn't have a certificate of eligibility, or you weren't eligible. And the main reason for that is the loan officers only know how to use the automated system. They look in the automated system, you're not there, you don't qualify.
Yeah.
And 25% of the veterans, their paperwork is wrong, or it's not in the system, and you have to take an extra step. So that's one of the main reasons I come across people that were active duty and a veteran, or even a reservist, and don't think they qualify for a VA loan because they've been told by somebody else that, well, you don't have a certificate of eligibility, you can't buy a house, which just isn't true. I get a lot of veterans that have just been told, excuse me, that you don't qualify. You don't have enough income. You don't make enough money. You've only been on your job for a year. There's a lot of reasons. But the nice thing about VA is the guidelines are very clear on what we can and cannot do. And it's the inexperience of a lot of loan officers out there that don't know how to calculate income correctly, or don't know that if you're receiving disability pay, that we can gross that up 125% because it's never taxed. There's all these different little tricks that are within the guidelines of VA lending, and they're not shared with the veteran or the individual loan officer they're talking to doesn't understand that you can use this guideline to help this veteran qualify. And so my big thing is, if any veteran is ever told no, active or retired or on disability, that you don't qualify for a VA loan, you need a second, third, fourth opinion. You need to get a hold of me or another certified VA loan officer.
Mm-hmm. And if they do get a hold of you and you tell them no, ask somebody else, right?
Well,
Yeah. No.
if I tell them no, I'm going to tell them no, and this is why, and I
Mhm.
have researched it. But
Yeah.
95% of the time,
You're telling
I'm
them yes.
able to figure
Yeah.
out, hey, we can get you qualified, but we need to do X, Y, and Z, and it's going to take 6 months or
Mhm.
3 months or a year, but we're going to get you into a house. And
Yeah.
it may be immediately, it may take a little while.
And I know in my situation, it was, I think kind of like you were saying, I went to a representative to get my COE, and they said I wasn't eligible. And then you went to a different representative and found out that I was eligible. What is a common thing that you see with veterans as they're trying to get a loan, or they're trying to get a house, that they hear this thing, but it ends up being just absolutely incorrect?
Hey, the Veterans Administration is a large government entity, right?
Mhm.
They're not perfect. And essentially that's what comes up most of the time is documentation wasn't filed right, period wasn't put where a period needed to be, service records weren't updated at the time you were discharged. There's just a lot of different reasons.
Mhm.
There was a building that housed military records for many, 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 many years that had flood damage, and there was a large chunk of military records that were destroyed.
Mhm.
And that was before the automated system, and all of those records didn't make it into the automated system.
Mhm.
So as long as you have your DD-214, or we have other documents that we can use to prove your military service, there's a way to get that certificate of eligibility.
Mhm.
85% of the time is going to come up in the automated system. The other 15% of the time, the majority of the LOs out there only know how to use the automated system, and that 15% gets told no when actually the answer should be yes.
Mhm. For the veterans out there that are listening right now and that are kind of like on the fence for buying a home, what would you say to them?
I wouldn't wait. It's if you have VA benefits to purchase a home, you
Mhm.
earned those benefits to purchase a home.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the lowest interest rates that are out there for veterans. You don't have to do a down payment. And in my opinion, I don't care what rates are. It's always a good time to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, if you're renting, you're paying somebody else's mortgage.
Mm.
You might as well be paying your own mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in most cases, that mortgage payment's going to be probably equal to, or probably even less than that rent amount would be.
In a lot of cases, it's less than what rent is right now.
Mhm.
And to all the military members that might be listening that are active duty, that their BAH isn't getting increased, but rents are going up, it's time to buy a house. Fix that monthly payment. Stop waiting for your rent to go up and having that difference between your BAH and what rent is. It's time to look into buying a home and fix that payment.
Okay, we're going to remind listeners again next segment, but tell them how they can get a hold of you.
They can reach me on my cell phone at 520-247-3610 or by email, which is Jon, at inspiredlifemortgage.com.
Perfect. We will be back with plenty more of that after the break. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. My buddy Andreas Ruiz has a little something to tell you about.
Yeah, so anybody that is interested in starting a life coaching business, I'm going to be launching my third Legacy Coaching Academy, where you can learn how to become a coach, believe in yourself, that you can do it, get clients and make money. So if you're interested, I would love to have you join me and send me an email at ibelievecal@gmail.com. Or you can also check out my website at ibelieveinmyself.org. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. We'll be right back after this.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show. I am your co-host, Andres Ruiz, alongside the pastor, Jonathan Lee McLean, and we have some amazing guests today. The John Spurr with Inspired Life Mortgage and Dr. Rachel, which we'll be interviewing in the second segment.
Yeah, so she'll be quiet. She's here for the radio listeners, but she's here. This is whispering.
Yeah, and earlier we were talking about the mortgage industry and just about veterans, and it was really interesting just to see how John was able to help you with your home and how he's helped out so many veterans, which is really appreciated. But I was also thinking about myself when it comes to just being a regular dude that
Just a regular old dude.
regular old dude.
Just walking down the street, just hanging out.
Singing doo-wah.
Yo, Daddy, I was gonna say.
Yeah, and so I was just thinking about, like, for example, with myself, I know that I've been hearing a lot of people talking about how, you should be refinancing your home, to whether it's you want to fix your home or maybe you want to get into real estate investing. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people tell me a lot of things and what I can do with it, with my home. And right now I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot where, like my interest rate is really low, but I've also given it the thought of like, maybe I could refinance and then start investing in real estate, or maybe, fixing up the house, or things like that have been coming up for me. And I've also had some friends that have been thinking about buying a home, but they're kind of thinking, nah, they're too expensive. We're just going to wait until the homes, they go down. What would you say to people like that?
You just gave him a lot to work with right there. There's kind of like 3 different parallel roads running in different directions on
I'm
that
going
one.
to get kicked out of my stuff.
According to the clock, I got 7 minutes. I can cover it all. It'll happen. So I'm going to start with the buying a home first.
Yeah.
And I hear it often from people that, I want to wait till home values come down. I'm going to wait until rates come down. The reality of it is we live in Tucson, Arizona, and there's a true housing shortage here. We've seen some price reductions on homes that are overpriced or priced a little bit higher than they should be for the neighborhood, but we've not seen anything drastic, tens of thousands of dollars like other marketplaces are seeing. Interest rates keep going up, and they probably are for a bit. So every day you wait to go buy that home, it's just becoming more expensive. The other thing to think about is every day you wait to buy that home, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. And I talked to an individual that, my wife who's sitting here referred me to, that's thinking she would wait to buy a home. And I said, well, your rent's going to $2,000. If you sign another year lease, you're going to pay $24,000 to somebody else's mortgage. Would you rather pay $24,000 to your own mortgage or to somebody else's? And that was enough for her to go, aha, I get it. I understand what you're saying. I'm going to be paying the money either way. Why don't I invest in myself? I like to say you marry the house and you date the rate. When rates go down, you're going to refinance. But when you buy the house, you better be in love with it. So you're in love with the house, but you're dating that rate. And when it's time to refi, we refi you to a lower rate.
How does your wife feel about that saying?
I don't date rates. I've been married to the house, married to my wife, so we're good.
He got us such a sweet rate. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And then what about, in regards to what he's saying, Andreas, he bought his house a while ago. Let's say over a decade. I don't know.
No, it's been like about 8 years now.
8 years, and it was very different back then. And in that time, he's built equity in his house. He has equity now. What would you suggest would be the best use of that equity for him?
So Americans are sitting on the most equity they've had in probably 20 years in just real estate in general. The really big thing right now is home equity line of credits. And like you said, you felt like you have a very good interest rate. And quite frankly, if your rate is below 5% or 4%, I would say don't touch your first mortgage unless it's some sort of emergency and it's the only way we can help you. But to look at a home equity line of credit. And a home equity line of credit is basically a giant credit card on your house. When you use it, you pay on it. When you don't use it, it's there to use. And it can be used to pay off debt. It can be used to remodel your house, go on a vacation. As you said, you might want to invest in real estate. You can use that to help you invest in real estate. But it's a way to tap the equity that's in your property without touching that lower interest rate that you have on your first mortgage. I have a lot of people ask me for reasons to refinance. And I did talk to an individual that because their credit score is lower, the home equity line of credit option was actually a higher payment, and we're going to go ahead and refinance her out of the lower rate she has into a higher rate, but paying off all of her high interest rate credit card debt. Her net outcome is she's going to save $800 a month. So there's many different reasons to refinance. I'm still an advocate of refinancing to a shorter term. Let's say you're in a position now that you're earning significantly more money than when you bought the house. Well, let's refinance to a 15-year. If you're 40 and you have a 30-year mortgage, it means you're making a mortgage payment until you're 70. If you're 40 and you have a 15-year mortgage, do the math. It's 55. Where would you
Don't make
be?
me do math now, John. Not with that.
I know. I'm trying not to make you
He's
do
super
math.
annoying. Having to say numbers, and I'm like, stop it. Let me get it on my phone first. My calculator.
But I do believe that using the equity in your home correctly can help grow your wealth. And as you said, investing in real estate is a great way to do that.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about in regards to creating your wealth and with real estate, for any people that are out there thinking about hey, maybe I could invest in something, what would be that investment that they should be making?
There's many different options. Purchasing another single family home as a rental property, looking at multifamily, like 4 or 5 or 6 unit properties where you're getting a bigger bang for your buck. Those are more expensive. Arizona still hasn't changed our law to where you can still do short-term rentals. So maybe you look at it from a standpoint of you're going to get a vacation rental or VRBO or an Airbnb. It could simply be investing in your kids. I have a lot of people who have taken money out of their home to do a down payment for their children because their rent has gone through the roof, and it's either mom and dad are going to supplement rent for the kid, or mom and dad can help them buy a house and supplement a mortgage payment and be building equity in another property that the kids are living in. We did that for my daughter because my choices were going to be supplement her rent, or I'm going to be paying towards a mortgage that we start building equity in that property.
Yeah, that's a
Good
great
stuff.
idea. And I guess we have. Tell us one more time, just so we don't run out of time, how they can get a hold of you if they're interested in checking it out.
So the cell phone number is 520-247-3610. They can check us out at our website at inspiredlifemortgage.com, or they can reach me as john@inspiredlifemortgage.com.
Nice.
You have to spell mortgage correctly, though.
Yeah, I have that problem with
Many.
spelling anything.
Mortgage.
So, and we got probably about a minute till we jump out of here. What's a myth that you come across often that you'd like to dispel?
Self-employed borrowers and needing to be employed for 2 years. I hear it all the time. I see it on different YouTube mortgage-related sites that you have to be employed for 2 years, or even just as a general employment W-2, and that's not the case. If the guidelines say that we have to prove that your employment is stable and likely to continue. There's nothing that says it has to be for 2 years. And so anybody out there that recently got a job and has been told they can't buy a house because they haven't had it for 2 years, call me. You definitely can buy a house.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us, John. You get to sit in the background for the next couple segments. So that's John Spurr with Inspired Life Mortgage. As you heard, go to inspiredlifemortgage.com.
Yes.
Yeah. And check them out. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McLean here with Andreas Ruiz. If you haven't been to veteranrescuemission.org yet, please check it out. Right now we're primarily asking for donation of cars. We have several veterans that need to get to their new jobs and their appointments, and that free bus is going to be running out really soon. So if you have a vehicle, any unused vehicles particularly, go to veteranrescuemission.org to check it out. All the proceeds that you donate to veteranrescuemission.org or to Veteran Rescue Mission help our homeless veteran transition program, Veteran Rescue Mission, help us better shelter and help connect veterans with housing and benefits. We will be back right after this break with Dr. Rachel with Inspired Life Center, the center that does everything. Hello, everybody. I hope you got your potty break in, got a little snack. You can kick your feet up and sit back and relax. I feel like I just made a song. Is that a song there? Yeah.
Sound like Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, yeah, exactly, yeah. So this is a Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McLean. You may not have guessed it, but I'm here with Andreas Ruiz of I Believe in Myself Coaching, the most motivational man on the planet. Did we get that title yet, or is it just Tucson for now?
Yeah.
Let's just start with Tucson. Let's be humble today.
Diddly.
That's a humble day. Diddly indeed. Absolutely. and we have Dr. Rachel here in studio with us. Also John Spurr. Don't tell anybody. He's part of the audience now. And,
So you think.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah, I've hung out with him before. I should know better. So we have Dr. Rachel here with Inspired Life Center. She, I guess real quick before we even jump into these cool questions we have, explain to the listeners, what is Inspired Life Center? Because we initially, when we had you on the show, I introduced it as Inspired Life Chiropractic, and you're kind of like going through that transition to it being the official center. So what is Inspired Life Center?
As you said, we are a place of everything.
Yeah.
If we find it, we want it, it's going to help more people, we add it. So I've got
Nice.
some cool stuff we're going to talk about next month, but we'll save it for that.
Okay.
Primary thing is our chiropractic care for our community, but we're everything wellness. We just turned it to center because we want to concentrate on the foundation of the things, because it takes a village to keep people healthy.
Yeah.
It's not just chiropractic care, even though that is a necessity. So massage, acupuncture, nutrition, just everything in that wellness category.
Nice. That's
Nice.
amazing.
Good stuff.
So there's a lot of myths associated with most professions, like particularly whether it's the myth of the profession of being a pastor, the myth of being a lawyer, the myth of being a politician. what are some of the myths associated with chiropractic care that you've heard that you'd like to dispel?
You know, he took my inspired life name.
Oh yeah,
He took my myth question too.
Well, that's what he does. He only has so many
These
good ideas.
minds just think right, but that takes me into like I talked about last time, but this time I wanted to talk about how chiropractic care is expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to look at like what is it worth to you, as you have to look at what is everything worth to you. So, he said, every day you wait, you're paying more.
Mm-hmm.
You need to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Finances, health, they're the same,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so what is it worth to you? What is it worth to you to be able to go to work every day?
Mm-hmm.
What is it worth to you to know your immune system is working at its top level, that you can be there for your kids, you can be there for your family.
Yeah.
So, and you know, when I started in this business, we would verify people's insurance companies, just show them how dumb it was. I'm going to say, like, I'm considered a specialist, and sometimes that copay was $60, and our cash prices are less than that. So, sure, I guess I'll take your $60. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I looked up some studies just to see what they were throwing around, and I know these things already, but I want to be able to tell you for sure on the studies. And it's like they show workers' compensation when you go under chiropractic care. You have better results, fewer reoccurrences of the problem. You have less missed work, less disability, less overall costs. That turns into not just saving the person money and having better results for them, but saving that business money. This low back, I think it's low back disability is like the biggest cost for businesses.
Wow.
I can see that.
I didn't look up those numbers because, you know, I'm not a numbers person per
Oh,
se.
yeah.
I got this guy next to
that's
me
what
that
John's
he's the
for,
numbers
yeah.
person.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the big picture is what's it worth to you? And if you're not making time for your health and a priority at this moment, you're going to have to in the future. And the costs are more. Your success is less usually. And that's very frustrating.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people older and they've got some pretty serious issues they're coming in with, trouble walking, just a lot of pain, and they're watching us adjust a kid.
Oh, wow.
And they're sitting there going, I should have been doing that. And it's what's the hindsight 2020. So it's about investing in yourself now.
You just use numbers.
Shut up, John.
There you go. No, and you know what's really cool? I like how you talked about how, you know, you're adjusting some kids too, and it sounds like if you get started as early as when you're a kid, because I mean, when you hear about that, you don't think about kids getting adjusted. You just think about adults getting adjusted. So tell us about, like, you know, how important it is for a young child to get adjusted as well.
Did you read my notes or something? I'm going to talk about that one next time. But that's like, do kids get adjusted? And it's like, yeah, they do. Our goal is to get them as young as possible. Birth is usually the
Get 'em
first
while they're
trauma.
young. That's what they say.
They need less.
Yes.
And so it's far less expensive to maintain the body than to fix broken adults. I've got like a sassy sign in my office that
like
says,
that.
go ahead and leave your kids at home.
I can see you having a lot
they
of
can
sassy
come in
signs.
with the same issues that you're dealing with now.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
That's why, and I guess, I mean, I kind of in that same vein. Because I mean, you're absolutely right about people thinking that it's way more expensive they can afford. I mean, my wife's a therapist, so you know she deals with that issue as well. What are some of the other myths around kind of wellness that you've seen that it's just other? I mean, and I think you kind of like highlighted it with like. Your overall care, your overall financial care, your physical care, your mental care, your emotional care is probably connected into it. What are some of the things that people just don't realize?
That's all connected. You'd said, what did you just say?
Something really good.
I know.
that. Just the connection between them.
I like taking a supplement or a vitamin. It's not a myth, but do you notice a difference? I don't notice a difference. But in 5 years, where will I have been if I didn't take that? It's about science and what we know how the body works. And I'm doing this, and there's no guarantee. But you want to do the things and investing in yourself, or you're going to be stuck and you can't go back. That's like a back surgery. Pretty low success rate. It helps some people. There's a necessity sometimes for it. Some pretty serious situations. But you do that, you can't undo it. And so what are you going to do in that point?
Mm-hmm.
And that's expensive.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, probably even more expensive than the care that they would have gotten from you.
And I'm not for like telling people what to do. I want them to be comfortable with their decisions.
Yeah.
So I provide them the best education I can.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me questions. Go research it yourself. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to research it. We're going to find that answer. Some people, we help them a lot, but there's a limitation depending on how long it took them to get to us, or their injury, or whatever they're dealing with, or their stress levels. And so, where would they be if they didn't do what they have been doing up to this point?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. Well, that's we'll have all that and more. That's Dr. Rachel that you're hearing with Inspired Life Center. What's the website?
www.inspiredlifecenter.net.
That's easy enough to remember. www.inspiredlifecenter.net. We will be talking about so much more after the break. As I mentioned before we went to last break, go to veteranrescuemission.org to find out more about the work that we do. Not only this awesome show that's on every Sunday at 3 on kvoi.com, but the work that we do to help connect veterans with the benefits. We'll be back right after this break.
Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show. I am your co-host, Andres Ruiz, alongside the pastor, John McLean, and we have a very special guest, Dr. Rachel from Inspired Life Center. And she had some great information that she was talking about in regards to wellness, which I'm a big fan of. And, I was just thinking about how, like, the thought of many people, that go to the chiropractor, they talk about how they want to go get checked up for like maybe back pain or headache, but there's like a bigger picture to chiropractic, because I've also gone to a chiropractor, and I do see how it does benefit not only just for headaches and back pains, but there's more to it. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. The bigger picture. I'm going to take you through a little journey with the
Ooh,
help,
I love
the
it.
help
Let's
of
do it.
my
Should I put my seatbelt
co-host
on?
here, Jonathan Spurr.
Yeah.
I like to share patient stories and where
Awesome.
they've
I love
come,
that.
because most people do come in a broken whatever,
Mhm.
and we
Uh-huh.
have to do our work to fix it as
Yeah,
best
right now
as we
it's
can.
my hip, just
And
for
then
the
we have
record.
to
Yeah.
maintain and
Mhm.
get to that wellness point. So, I'm going to let John take it away, because he's my story today on his journey. He's had some past chiropractic before we ever met, but he was in a pretty serious car accident. So I'm going to have him tell that, and then we'll go through his journey.
Yeah, it's been 11 years.
12,
12
I think
years.
we're going
12
on
now.
almost 13.
That I had a rollover car accident that I was partially ejected from the vehicle, and I had brain trauma, head damage, fractured L4, L5, S1 in my back, all sorts of injuries. And they wanted to fuse my back, which I refused, because I know what that meant, and I was in my 30s, and you fuse L4, L5, S1, and you're not bending over at the waist, and I don't know, I like to bend over and pick things up. So,
I can see that.
and the head trauma in itself, I had a lot of balance issues. I wasn't walking correctly. I couldn't button my sleeves, couldn't tie shoes. There were a lot of mobility issues that I had, and I could have easily fell victim to opiate drugs and got addicted to them and gone on the welfare system and disability and so on and so forth. And I chose to go the wellness route, and chiropractic care was a huge part of getting me back to where I am and where I am today, so that I can do the things that I do. And you look at me today and you would never know that I had problems talking, and I had to think and get my words straight and grasp for words, and that I couldn't bend over at the waist, or can't demonstrate it on radio. But when I was I thought I was standing straight.
I think you demonstrated
and I
fine,
was
brother.
turned sideways, and my head was to the left, and people would like stand up straight. I'm like, oh, I am standing up straight, but I wasn't, because just everything wasn't aligned correctly. My nervous system wasn't working the way it needed to, and the wellness and chiropractic care, the supplements, just all the different things that we did, change in diet to get me where I'm at.
Yeah, and only the video watching audience can see this, not the listening audience. But Mr. John Spurr, he's kind of buff. You're kind of buff, buddy. I definitely never see you as a guy who
So
was in a
good
serious
looking.
accident. I wouldn't go that far, but
Well, I think, and you bring it up, and I think the accident was also a result of me going and doing that, because keeping my back the way it needs to be, I needed a solid core, and I started working out more, and to make sure that my core was solid, so that my back was solid, and so exercise became a key part of recovering, also.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, it takes a village. It is a journey. It is hard. It's hard work.
I do chiropractic care, massage, acupuncture, change of diet, exercise, supplements.
He's a good boy.
Talk about drinking Kool-Aid. I'm all in, but I feel
Sounds
like I'm
like
at the
he
top.
has a smart wife that keeps him really well regimented.
That's why I don't understand my patients. The husbands are difficult. I'm like, you just tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Here's the supplements.
What are you doing? All you have to do is just tell them to do it.
It's for your own good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, my wife would say the same. So yeah, I'm with you.
The nice thing is everything you've ever asked me to do, I've seen improvement. And I feel like everything that we've done over the years, I'm at the top of my game, and I'm not a spring chicken. But I turned 48 this year, just last month.
Oh, wow.
I want to say a day over 42.
My mom sent him a 50th birthday card this year. I swore he told me he was 50.
And I think it was better that it wasn't a joke. She seriously thought I was 50.
Yeah, sends me a picture. He's like, is she joking, or she think I'm
Is she saying he's not aging well, or
a meaningful
I'm not sure.
message inside and everything? But he said basically everything I was going to say, and that goes back to what I said before: is there's no proof in the future. You don't have that crystal ball. You don't know what's going to happen, but you need to do that work, because there's studies, there's proof. We have an opioid crisis. It is huge.
Yeah.
People are dying.
That's now turned
and
into a
it's
fentanyl
not,
crisis.
Yes, and it's this disgusting roller coaster. People don't know how to get out of that. So, he's done the work, and he's amazing. And I think the medical system looked at him like, they saved his life. Okay, he came out of it. There were some things they did wrong, but they did what they were supposed to do at that time, and that's how that system's supposed to be used. It's not supposed to be the everyday little things.
Which as you're saying that, it's like whether he would have had that surgery done or not, to his back, this is stuff he wants to do anyways. If this is like you're saying, and adjusting the kids, like, these are kind of habits that we should probably pick up in childhood and carry on into our adulthood, rather than being in a situation where you got to get ejected out of a car to be told, okay, now you have to be a good boy.
I always tell my patients, because I don't want them to feel bad, but I'm like, no offense, but it's neglect. And it's because of lack of education, because nobody knows back at that age that, we should get our back checked. And I don't know if it's just because it's back there and that people don't see it, because we know we get our eyes checked, our teeth checked, and it's just all the systems are checked, the blood work's checked. But no, he made good decisions, and it's how you're raised usually on making those decisions. But we don't know. But he it would have been in his, not in favor, but his, a strong pull towards that disability, drugs, still being in pain and misery. Like, what did you say? I've never been on morphine, but it doesn't make it go away. It just makes you not care.
Pretty much.
And what emotional traumas does that do to somebody, and spirals and spirals and spirals?
Most painkillers I've ever taken, it's not that it dulled the pain. It just made you not realize it was there. That you were loopy or out of touch, but it didn't do anything to make the pain go away. It just made you not realize that you were in pain. And I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't something that I wanted to be on or do.
Especially for the rest of your life. Be in that state where you're constantly going to have to deal with pain, maybe constantly have to deal with surgeries, and just imagine if you stuck in the opioid epidemic and trying to battle back from that.
And what if it went away? Like, do you want to be dependent on a medication?
No.
What if you had no money? What if you couldn't get it?
Well, and we talk about it all the time, innate intelligence. It's one of our favorite words, but simple explanation is you cut yourself and your body knows how to heal. You don't do anything, it just heals. And so, in my mind, if I give the body what it's supposed to have, correct nutrition and everything else, it's going to figure out how to heal itself. And I just subscribe to it, and I believe that it works, and I think I'm living proof that it works.
So we get tweaks here and there, but for the most part, he's in the wellness part.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Just maintaining.
Yeah.
No, I'm just really good at breaking myself. It's not tweaks.
It's true.
I find good ways to break myself.
Maybe that will be my next show. I don't know. The many ways
John Spurr breaks himself with Inspired Life Center. So tell us what's coming up next.
We're really excited. We are currently finishing up our office renovation, and we're going to be moving just next door.
Cool.
And then we get to start the project of renovating the current space we're in. But that's, that's life. It's a beautiful space, bigger, letting us serve our community more. We have this grand opening that's going to be Friday, November 4th from 2 to 5. We'll have refreshments. You can see the center, meet Dr. Courtney and myself. We've got 92.9 The Bull with Chris O'Gorman. He's going to do some broadcasting of his afternoon show.
Nice.
We'll have music and prizes. So
Nice.
we would love as many people to just shuffle on through and ask us any questions, see the new technologies that we have.
Nice.
And that leads us into my Veterans Day appreciation that we're going to start doing annually. So
Awesome.
that's going to be Friday, November 11th. Inside Inspired Life Center, we have Inspired Life Healing, which is our nonprofit, and that benefits our veterans, our first responders, and our, what's the other one, John? Active military. That was really challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, I just realized recently talking to a guy who's in the Air Force, they don't consider themselves veterans. So yeah.
We have it.
They're active military.
Active military.
Yep.
So we want to, those people sacrifice their bodies, their families, their lives, and it affects them physically and emotionally. I know you've seen it. And so we need to take care of them.
Yeah.
And they don't have good care on base. In some cases, don't even have care. So
Yeah.
that goes back to the insurance thing. If you're not injured, it's not,
Not
they
covered.
won't take care of you on base. So
Yeah.
we put together this nonprofit. So on Friday, November 11th, from 11 to 2, our veterans do need to be current patients. They do need to make an appointment, but we are looking for sponsors to sponsor our veteran adjustments. It's $35. You get a tax-deductible receipt. You can do as many
Nice.
as you want.
Nice.
And that is to provide our veterans with natural care so that they can get to that wellness point.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
And how do people connect with that? What website, phone number to donate?
You can get all our information at the website, inspiredlifecenter.net. But easiest, give our office a call. That's 520-390-2966. They can do payment over the phone. You can come in.
Nice.
We love visitors.
Good
I was
stuff.
almost going to have you give us an audio visual virtual tour of a walkthrough of the new place, but I guess we'll save that for after the open house.
Just
We're-
come to the open house.
Yeah, come
you
to
go.
the open house on
2055 North Kolb Road. And it is Friday, November 4th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay,
Nice.
you guys, if you guys don't check it out, you're missing out. They're gonna have snacks. They're gonna get to check out all the cool technology they have. Check out the new place. Get to meet Dr. Rachel. I'm guessing John Spurr will be there. He'll probably be picking on you.
Well, I guess that's the secret too. It houses an Inspired Life mortgage office as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll be
Double
moving
dipping.
in there also.
Nice. So yeah, so go there, get adjusted, get a new mortgage. Maybe
Had
and
a
just-
dog.
Yeah, check out what's available for you. If you're a vet, they're going to definitely square you away twice the amount. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining us. You guys
Yeah,
are awesome.
Great knowledge. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McLean here with Andres
Andres. Yes.
Ruiz of I Believe Myself Coaching